Hey YouTube, Untamed here. So behind me I have a brand new 2024 Toyota Crown XLE. There are 3 trims for the Crown. You have XLE, Limited, and Platinum. This is quote-unquote the bare bones model of it. And well, as you look at the price tag here, it does beg the question, is it worth it? So in today's video, I'm going to dissect all the details of it, interior, exterior, give you my top 3 likes, my top 3 dislikes. We'll talk through the projected resale of the Crown here, and I'll wrap up the video with, do I recommend buying one if you have an opportunity to? Let's get into it. As we jump into the exterior here, I want to give a quick shout out to Ken Garf Toyota here in Cheyenne, Wyoming. That's my hometown Toyota dealership, and they were kind enough to let me get behind the wheel of this for about a day now and give you guys a really good indication of what it is truly like to own a Toyota Crown. So shout out to Ken Garf Toyota. If you're interested in this one or other Toyota Crowns, be sure to give them a look. So let's talk through the exterior. This paint color, I love it. This is called heavy metal, and I think it looks phenomenal. You know, it's unlike most other grays out there. So really depending on how the light hits it is how dark of a gray it is. I really do appreciate that look to it. We do have some 19-inch wheels here, wrapped in some 225/55 19s. These are some Bridgestone tires. Let me know what you think of those wheels. Personally, I think the Platinum wheels are a little too gaudy for my personal liking, whereas these, I don't know, I feel like they strike a nice balance. Get a good look at those headlights there. I don't like this up front here. It is all just plastic cladding up front. There's no opening, no flow through, which is obviously by design, of course. A little bit better airflow, better aerodynamics, but you do have some airflow up top here with those side vents, if you can see. We do have the adaptive radar system right here for Toyota Safety Sense 3.0. But overall, a pretty sleek looking ride. Definitely unique, right? Obviously shares some resemblance to the Toyota Prius in particular, but overall I think the Crown is a standalone vehicle on its own. Let me give you a down the side look over here. Obviously driver's side gas cap there. So not a whole lot of curvature to the sides here, which there's goodness in that depending on the type of person you are. We do have some plastic wheel well arches here. And a black, it's kind of hard to see with the lighting, but you do have a black piece here on the side lower portion, which I think looks good. Let's check out the back end. So definitely unique, right? You don't see any vehicle that really looks like this. So hats off to Toyota for at least making a very uniquely designed vehicle here. Kind of what you find with modern day Porsches, right? The whole line across. Get that Crown written across the back. Kind of appreciate that swooping window line here. That looks pretty sleek. Now let's talk about the important bit. Here is the window sticker, 41 miles to the gallon, which is nothing to scoff at. However, it is important to note that the Toyota Prius has the same exact engine, the 2.5 liter inline 4-cylinder here, and it gets 51 miles to the gallon on average. So you're getting 10 less here. Same goes for the new Toyota Camry. Really, it's just about the same horsepower too, 236 horsepower in this, and it was 232 horsepower for the all-wheel drive variant of the Camry in particular. We do have the different drive modes, EV, Eco, Normal, and Sport, and I'll show you more of that when we get on the inside there. But for over 42 grand on the quote-unquote base model, the lowest trim here, is it worth it? The limited Toyota Prius is probably about $2,000 to $3,000 less than that, so that's something important to keep in mind. And that Toyota Camry I reviewed the other day, it was just over 30 grand. So, and you're gonna get better fuel economy out of that Camry too, same engine, but granted, a little bit different on the interior as well. So let's show you what we're working with on the inside. So as we open up the door there, we do have the keyless smart detection system here. So with the key fob in your pocket, you can get your smart key access there for both your driver and passenger door. So these seats are pretty unique because you do have a cloth insert all throughout the center of it, whereas you do have that soft tex leather material on the exterior perimeter, which I think they look good. You got that kind of that bronze, light bronze piping and in gray white stitching there. I think that looks pretty sleek. Your electronic adjustable seats. It does have that swanky little switch back here where you can access it from this side as well as that side. Normally we do find that in Lexus. I had that in my LX 600 if you guys recall. A bit more glossy materials in here than I would like because, well, as you can kind of see right there, it does a good job at collecting dust and collecting glare, obviously with that dust too. It doesn't look always the best. Do you have it does feel a little bit more premium material up here, not leather. I don't think, yeah, this isn't leather, it's more of a rubberized plastic, but it doesn't feel super chintzy, and I think that's important to note. A little bit more of that bronze accent here. And your vent over here, of course. Kind of a swooping dash. Seemingly you would expect to have great visibility here, but when we get in it, I'll kind of show you, it is kind of hindered out back, and I'll show you that here in a second. Let me go to the other side real quick. So as I get in here, I think this sticker right here is extremely important to note. 100% assembled and sourced in Japan. This Toyota Crown here really is a flagship vehicle for the Japanese and for Toyota, and I really love that about this Toyota Crown. Just like the Toyota Land Cruiser in the SUV department, this here is equally, I don't know, I would say has an equal amount of heritage to it to some degree. Depending on who you're talking to, people would actually argue this might have more, but I love the fact that it is built entirely out of Japan, so that gives it some style points, no doubt. A little bit more of a adjustability over here with your lumbar support. All-weather floor mats that say Toyota Crown. It says Crown on your entry point here. Metal insert. So pretty cheap materials overall, if I'm being honest. Like this could have been metal. It even kind of looks metal, but it's not. It's just kind of a hard plastic. It doesn't look that great. Hard plastic up top, a little bit more of a softer material here, perhaps. I don't know if I'd, maybe leather, but more soft tex leather, I'd say. Some more white stitching, and a little bit more of that. Has some like little metallic flake with it, as you can see here, but I don't love this. It still feels really cheap overall, and you get fingerprints all over it, Exhibit A. So don't love that. Your cargo space down here with a cup holder. Let's hop in, show you what we're working with. Give you a little better view. So foot on a brake, push to start right here. A little bit of a fan going here. So here are your fan controls here. You do have dual climate within it. Here is your insert for your wireless charging tray for your phone, which, I don't know, I don't think I've ever had a vehicle that's kind of quite like that. I had one that kind of tilted upward, but I never had one that was like a cubby. So it's kind of interesting to me. This right here was pretty unique to get used to, and you should have seen Mrs. Untamed as she was trying to figure it out. So this is definitely unique, and if you have never seen it before, it can stump you for a minute. So obviously you push, it's a button, you push it to go into park, but as you see by the directions here, you have to push it over and then back, and now we're in drive. So kind of an interesting little setup here, okay? Then obviously if you want to go to neutral, pop it up one, we're in neutral, or reverse, pop it up one more. So now we are technically in reverse. And there's your backup camera there. So great resolution on that backup camera. I think that's important to note. But nonetheless, kind of a wonky setup there. Now we're back in a park. I can't say I love that, to be honest with you. Here we have your EV mode, your electronic parking there, your traction control off. You go through your various driving modes and get a little bit of an animation up top here. Sport mode, get a little red action. Get your normal gray mode, and then a little more of a teal green for your eco mode there. So we have a 12.3 inch multimedia infotainment screen here. Same goes for your gauge display here, 12.3 inch, which is pretty incredible. I mean, it looks great, and in something like this, in a vehicle like this, I expect to have that, and I'm totally a-okay with that. Although personally, I do prefer having analog gauges. It just feels a little bit more raw and a little less, I guess, better peace of mind, right? That it's not going to break. So I always appreciate having analog. And this, although it protrudes a little bit up into the dash, it is still a seamless line all the way into your gauge display here above it. So this looks good aesthetically. It's always wonky when they just put that additional tacked on iPad that protrudes upward over here. I never loved that. This here, I don't know, maybe I'm being too critical of it. I don't like how tiny this is. You know, even me, I got these little hands, and even then I'm like, this feels, it feels kind of tiny. Don't love that. I'd appreciate it to be a bigger knob. You could have gloves on. Out here in Wyoming in the winter, you often have gloves on, so it's nice to do that. I digress. Here's your climate controls here. We talked through it briefly. Your fan speed, of course, right here, and your various different modes for your fan, and of course your temperature. More of a toggle switch here. I would have preferred it to be a knob, but that's just me. Your sync, your AC on and off, your defrosters, your heated, cooled seats. I believe it's just heated in here, actually. I'm pretty sure it is just heated in this one. I'm going to kind of give you a peek of your center console, but fairly deep. It goes about maybe 6 inches deep, 7 inches deep altogether. Not too bad. You have a little sliding with a felt up top, so it doesn't totally slide around your change if you were to put some there. But yeah, that about sums up front here, with the exception of the steering wheel. So steering wheel, pretty straightforward. You have your lane keep assist here. You have your, don't mind my pasty white legs. Yikes, the sun isn't helping that. Lane keep assist, your adaptive cruise control here, and your adjustments to it. You can set your distance behind the vehicle, in front of you, of course, and your various modes for it. On a vehicle like this, I expect to have those safety nannies at this price point too, of course. That is to be expected. Your Bluetooth and your phone controls over here to include your volume and voice commands down here. Typical stocks of what we've gotten used to within our Toyotas left and right. But yeah, let's go ahead and pop in the back seat and show you what we're working with. So you can just kind of see that swooping body line. Tell me what you guys think of that. Love that paint color though. Let me show you. Let me try to give you a better, it is a little dusty, guys, so forgive me, but I do want to give you a little bit of a better idea of what we're working with here. It is pretty cool. So same type materials, of course, on the back doors here. Same seat material. Tell me what you think of this. I'm kind of indifferent. I go back and forth on it. I've really grown to appreciate the durability feel of these cloth seats. They feel like they're going to age well. They have a very similar feel and design in the 1958 edition Toyota Land Cruiser. Go check out that video of mine if you haven't already. I actually really appreciate that. All-weather floor mats out back, 2 wireless USB-C charging ports here in the back with your vent system there, 2 little map cubbies in each of those seats here. But overall, a ton of space in here. Let me show you what 5.9 looks like in here anyway. So maybe just a few inches above my head at 5.9. But overall, really comfortable. Like these right here, these are super comfy. They're like pillows. What do we got here? Okay. Yeah, this ain't bad. Not bad at all. You see kind of a upward cutout. You don't have the sunroof in this, of course. A little bit more of a headspace cutout up front. We have little ones out back, as you can see, with your lights up top. But you can kind of get an idea of what I'm talking about with the visibility. It is not exceptional, guys. And I don't know, it's kind of a little bit of a knock for me. I expected this, for just how big of a vehicle it is, I would have expected that visibility to look a little bit better. I don't know. Maybe I am being too critical, but not a fan of that. You get tiny little, little window cutouts right here. Look at that. All right. Well, let's pop the hood. Actually, excuse me. Let's show you the trunk space first, and then we'll pop the hood. Show you that 2.5 liter inline 4. So this right here, is definitely larger, not by much, but definitely larger than that Toyota Camry I reviewed just the other day. You know, I would say, gosh, I'm sorry I don't have the figures hip pocket, but I would say it is more than the 15 cubic feet that we found in that Toyota Camry, and probably by 3 to 5 cubic feet. All right, now let's go look under the hood. Let's see if we can do this one hand. I've not done this yet. Nice. Well, I'm actually shocked that we do not have, obviously it's buzzing right now, it's on. I'm shocked that we don't have automatic hood struts on it, to be honest with you guys. I would have expected that for the Crown here. But there is the heart of the beast, 2.5 liter inline 4, 236 horsepower here for having all-wheel drive. That Camry that I checked out the other day, you know, it was a little bit less horsepower. I think it was 232 horsepower for their all-wheel drive variant of the Camry. So just slightly more powerful, but it's a heavier vehicle. And I think that is where we see those fuel economy figures kind of get degraded a little bit, right? So compared to the 51 miles to the gallon that we get in the much lighter Toyota Camry, this is what we're working with here. I don't know. I don't think that's a really good trade-off. And I would personally have a harder time choosing this over the Camry just for that reason, really. So let me know what your thoughts are on that. So that about wraps up the interior and exterior. Let's get into my top 3 likes and my top 3 dislikes. All right, let's start with the good. My top 3 likes. Number 1, I already kind of mentioned it a little bit, but I love the fact that this really is a legacy vehicle. The Toyota Crown has quite the history and quite the heritage to it, just like we find within the Toyota Land Cruiser. So this nameplate here, the Japanese take tremendous pride in building this to be an exceptional vehicle for people. This kind of luxury segment sedan has always kind of been there, and well, I do appreciate that they offered it to the US. It has not hit well, has not sold well within the US, and largely because I think Toyota kind of struggled with how they marketed this, right? Wasn't the best marketing plan for this in the delivery of it, in my personal opinion. So, but number 1, I do love the fact that it is built entirely out of Japan. They take tremendous pride in building it, and well, it's a legacy vehicle in my eyes. Anyway, number 2 like would be just how comfortable it is. It's extremely comfortable. And those seats, the cloth seats with the Softex leather perimeters, I feel like they are exceptionally comfortable. And just driving this down the road, it feels great. No complaints with how comfortable it is. And number 3, of course, would just be the overall unique design. Of course, I can kind of hype up the fuel economy, but when you compare it to the Prius and the Camry that have 10 miles to the gallon more with the same exact engine, it's kind of hard to make that one of my likes. So overall, the unique design to it, I do appreciate. You know, in and out, it does feel special and it feels extremely unique. So those are my 3 likes. And now for the part for where you want to beat me up. So my top 3 dislikes. Number 1, I don't feel as though there are enough premium finishes within this interior to warrant that kind of price tag. So it's still pretty expensive, right? Even though this is the XLE, the lesser trim option, it's still over $42,000, and that's nothing to scoff at. And with it having that price tag and having no real metal finishes within here, lots of chintzy plastic, a lot of gloss black plastic within here, I just would have expected a little bit more premium for the interior at that price point. Okay, so number 1 dislike, that's it. Number 2 would be, I already kind of hinted at it, but the fact that it does get 10 miles to the gallon less than the Toyota Camry and then the Toyota Prius, right? The same exact engine, 2.5 liter inline 4 hybrid, but yet we get 10 miles to the gallon less. I don't fully understand that. The weight shouldn't be that big of a driver for that. So I'm a little confused as to why we're getting that much less fuel economy in it. So that's my second gripe. And number 3, I talked about it briefly again, was the visibility. When you look out the back here, it doesn't seem as good as you would expect. When you look at it from the outside, it's kind of a bubbly, big vehicle, and you'd expect it to have great visibility, kind of like what you find in a Land Cruiser, right? But that's not the case, especially out this back window here. It's pretty tight. When you look through the rear view mirror here, it doesn't seem as good as you would want it to be. So those are my 3 dislikes. Let's talk resale value real quick. So we can see a number of 2023 Toyota Crowns XLEs in the low 30s right now, with about 15 to 20,000 miles on them roughly. You can easily pick up a used one for about $31,000 right now. So you're already looking at about $10,000 to $12,000 drop in just 1 year of ownership. That's a little surprising. To be fair though, you can go pick up a new one of these with a little bit of a discount on them now. So instead of paying $42,000, you can save a few $1,000s on it. I've already spotted, after doing a nationwide search, a number of Toyota Crown Limiteds, that mid-tier trim, for about the mid-30 range, $34,000 to $35,000. And Platinums, they're high 30s right now. So on average, we are losing about $10,000 to $12,000 over that first year of ownership, 15 to 20,000 miles on it. I'm not sure. That's not really looking so great so far, but c'est la vie. So I gotta admit, just like that Toyota Camry, it is extremely smooth, and you could tell that there's a lot more sound deadening within the Toyota Crown here, making it an extremely quiet ride. So that is perhaps the most notable bit. And when you're turning it, it feels similar to the Toyota Camry I drove. However, you can feel that additional heft that the Toyota Crown has over that Camry. Nothing bad, but when you drive them back to back, you will notice it. Let's get an idea of what the turn radius feels like in this. So we'll go all the way over here, and then we're gonna do a lock turn. All right, we're locked. Wow, okay, well, no issues with that. Took not even half of that cul-de-sac circle there. Not bad. You know, obviously you can adjust the seat quite a bit here, but one thing I've noticed is you kind of feel like you're really tucked down in here, right? So this door card kind of comes pretty high up, and to be fair, I really could adjust a little bit, I'm sure, but even with that being adjusted, I can tell that this just feels a little bit higher. And again, maybe that kind of adds to the whole lesser visibility feel to it, perhaps. But again, just kind of feel like you're more tucked in here, like a race car, if you will, surrounding your body, whereas you got a little bit more window in that Camry by comparison. All right, let's get onto a freeway, pedal to the metal. So we are in normal driving mode. No, that cool exhaust is not coming from the Crown. It's a motorcycle, if you can even hear it. But yeah, overall, not too dramatic by any means, but the power delivery is linear with the CVT here, the electronic CVT. So no gripes. I think you do have plenty of power to give you that peace of mind for any kind of passing that you're going to do on a freeway. So you definitely notice a lot less wind noise in the Toyota Crown here, even compared to the Toyota Camry. So definitely something you'll notice if you jump between the two vehicles anyway. And really, I think I can say with confidence that it does feel a little bit more planted overall. And a part of that is going to be the added heft to it, right? The added weight to the Toyota Crown here. But again, it being built entirely out of Japan, perhaps it's a little bit of a placebo effect on me at this point, but it does feel extremely well put together. And I'll always love that, right? Always know that it's going to be built extremely well. The quality control is going to be there because they do take tremendous pride in building this flagship sedan. You know, it just floats over all the bumps in the road. It just kind of glides and bounces over it ever so softly, kind of like you're on a boat, really. It does feel nice. So great braking power, no complaints there. So we're taking this at a little bit of a higher speed. So slightly more body roll, you can tell, compared to that Camry, but gosh, it handles it extremely well, very well planted. So to answer the question of do I recommend buying the Toyota Crown if you have an opportunity to, I personally would not. I would opt for the much less expensive Toyota Camry. The one I drove the other day, right at $30,000. That's 12 grand less than this, and you are getting 51 miles to the gallon in that Camry by comparison. The only difference I would choose for that Camry I looked at was I would make it the all-wheel drive version. That would hinder it just a little bit, but overall, it would still be much more affordable, and really, they feel extremely similar. They have the same exact engine, 2.5 liter inline 4. They feel pretty darn similar when you drive them back to back. However, I will speak out of both sides of my mouth here. This Toyota Crown is very unique, right? If you want a vehicle that you're not going to see left and right all over the road, this is going to be it for you. It's a little bit more unique, and the fact that it is built entirely out of Japan does lend it some style points, and that will always lend it some style points into the future. Both of them, the Toyota Camry and this, they lose a little bit of value. This is going to lose a little bit more by comparison because a lot more people have brand familiarity with that Camry by comparison. Same goes for the Prius. So I think they're going to hold value a little bit better. So I'll wrap up the video there, guys. As always, I sincerely appreciate you taking the time to tune in. If you enjoyed this video or you found any kind of value in it, please let me know in the comment section. And as always, if you haven't already, please consider liking and subscribing. Your support means a lot, and I certainly take note of it as we build this channel out. Until next time.